Hey everybody, welcome to Real Estate Today. And on this episode of Ask Connie, I'm answering a question for Mary who's over in Salem. And she wants to know how to make my offer stand out. So, as you may have already heard again and again, that it is a seller's market in 2015. It was a seller's market in 2014, and it continues to remain a seller's market in 2015. And really, what that means is that there's just that many more buyers out there than there are available homes for sale. So there's less inventory, more people shopping for houses, which makes it crazy right now competing with other buyers and other offers that are on specific property. So how can you make your offer stand out so that you can get into that competition and win your dream home? Basically, I like to break it down in a few steps. First of all, make sure that you inquire if there are other offers on the table. You don't want to overpay for, and never known anybody that wants to overpay for their property, or, you know, assume that they're in a bidding war if there's not. So that's part of your buyer representation. Your buyer representative should do their due diligence and make sure that they understand the situation and really ask and find out what the other offers have they been submitted? Is there a deadline to submit the offer? Sometimes you'll see on certain listings that they have a offer period of, let's say, first open house on Sunday, offers review on Monday at 5 p.m. This is a little bit of a strategy, but you don't necessarily want to submit your offer much before that Monday at 5 p.m. because you don't want that broker to go back to the other prospective buyers and say, hey, I have an offer on the table. They're not allowed to tell them what they offered, but it does drive up that sort of activity if they know that there's other offers on the table. So you really want to be the last one to submit your offer, or at least at the very, wait till the last minute, just to make sure that you're ahead of the game when it comes to that curve. The risk that can happen is if the seller, the listing agent, does write on there, offer is accepted at 5 p.m. on Monday, and she doesn't receive any more than one offer, and it's Monday mid-morning, will the seller accept? Why, again, it's important to have a buyer represent you and make sure that they're communicating with that listing agent to make sure that it's there. You have someone working for your best interest. So if there is multiple offers or there is another offer, how do you make yours stand out? Do you offer more money? What do you do? People often assume that by offering more money that would strengthen their offer, whereas that's not necessarily always true. And we have to be careful in this market as well as listing brokers that we make sure that we don't drive up that price too high where we'll run the risk of that home appraising. So it doesn't necessarily mean you can offer $10,000, $15,000 more and your offer will be stronger. These are some ways you can do. So first, you could make sure that your financing is tight. You want to make sure you have a pre-approval letter ready to go and that you're communicating with your lender. And it's really nice to see as part of the offer, you submit the pre-approval with your buyer's agent who sends it off to the seller's agent, but also says, this is the mortgage representative, feel free to contact them, or even have that mortgage representative reach out and contact the listing broker. Really kind of shows that you are really doing all your work and making sure that you will get your financing on that date. Talk to your mortgage lender, see if you can commit to the financing date a little bit sooner than some. Some people think, a long period of time is best. You really want to make sure, is the seller looking for a quick close? Is the seller looking for a longer close? Really want to get to know what their situation is. If they're looking for a quick close, you want to make sure that you communicate with your mortgage lender and see what they can do for you as far as tightening up those dates. Because a strong date is always a great way to strengthen your offer. If you're okay about closing when the seller wants to close, that usually will strengthen your offer. Another thing you could do, and this is kind of without saying, but it's important because a lot of people don't understand, is really make sure that you have no contingencies. And what that really means is don't have to sell anything in order to buy anything. I know that's tough. It can be tough to do, but I've had situations where sellers, review offers and they will pick someone's offer that has nothing to sell, no contingencies. Maybe it's a little less of an offer even, but they'd rather go that route than someone that has to sell their property in order to purchase their property. So see if you can do anything when it comes to removing any contingencies on that part. Personal note, that's always a really good way to get to know the for the seller to get to know you. I feel like sometimes we're all just writing up numbers, but really, real estate is a people business and it's an emotional business. And people really like to connect with one another. Say how much you love the property, how you envision yourself living there, how you're going to take care of the property. Actually, from a client of mine suggested one time, and I've been using it ever since. So thank you out there, Colin Codner. He decided to put a photo of him and his family along with the personal note, which I never thought of before. And it really showed that there's a human being, a family, right behind that note. So it's really more than just, you know, number figures when it comes down to offering. And they really fell in love with my buyers, my clients, the seller. At that point, I was representing my buyer. So we had all those things done. They had their financing concrete. They were able to close quickly on the seller's terms. And they also included that letter of, I would say, like a love letter to the property. Really strengthened their offer, and we were able to beat out another offer that was on the table. So, really, if you can do some of those things, it really can help you in this tough seller's market. And don't get discouraged out there. I know that sometimes I've had clients where they're almost afraid to put an offer in because they automatically assume, well, there's another offer on the table, forget it, I'm not going to bother. But really, don't look at it that way. Really try to put your best foot forward. If it's really the property that you love and you can picture yourself out there for a long time, definitely try your best, and good luck. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Thanks so much for listening in. Remember that you can always submit any of your real estate questions over at askconnie.info. Thanks so much.